What's cracking, YouTube? It's me, the Biz, Fishing Aquatics with the amateurs. So amateurs, yep, get that professional look. And I asked another question. Oh yeah. I asked another question.
All right, man, that's enough of the questions, man. You asked too many questions.
A very simple question, one question and one question only for the all-star panel to answer. And that question was,
Just don't do it. Don't.
what's the easiest way to cycle your tank? That's all I asked. And I got some answers. Oh yeah. I got some answers. So without further ado, let's get straight to the video. Let's go.
The best way to cycle an aquarium is to know people. And what I mean by that is to have friends that are in the hobby that you can get things from that already have that glorious bacteria in it, whether it's some substrate, some filter media, maybe he's got an extra sponge filter that he's been running in the tank and you can bring that over and put that in there or something like that. Or even I've gone as far as to have your friend squeeze the sponge filter out into a bag of brown, nasty, disgusting water and bring that over and dump it into your new aquarium. Yeah, it'll make it dirty for a little bit, but it'll all settle down and it'll help to plant that seed, if you will, in your new aquarium. Another approach would be, if this is your very first aquarium, you can't really do this. That's when you would go to your friend. But if you have an aquarium already in your house and you know you're going to be getting another one in a couple of months, buy the filter for your new tank now and put it on your existing aquarium, and you'll just be double filtering the aquarium that you have right now, but it'll be getting that seed in that new filter. That it'll be seeding it. I don't usually like saying seeding, but you know what I'm saying. It'll get all of that bacteria into that new filter. Then when you bring it over, when you get your new tank, you bring it over, put it onto there, you've got that head start. None of this guarantees that your tank is going to be instantly cycled, but this is a great way to kind of boost the cycle and get it going. What I would do is do that and then also add live bacteria. There's a lot of products out there. I don't want to do an advertisement for my website, but there's a lot of products out there that are live bacteria. I would do that as an extra step, just to add more bacteria in there and really get that cycle going. It pays to have friends that are fish keepers.
My preferred way for cycling a tank is to use media from established filters from established tanks. You put that media into the filter of the new tank. Make sure the water is conditioned. If you don't condition the water, it could kill the bacteria that you're bringing over. But if you use a little bit of substrate and a little bit of media from an established tank, you are going to be able to instantly have a add fish. You can also use products like Fritz-Zyme 7. Chem Stability. These products work. You need to add fish right away because the bacteria that's in the product needs the waste of the fish. So don't add the product and then wait weeks and weeks because you're afraid to add fish. If you use those products, add fish right away because it's the fish waste and ammonia production that's going to feed that bacteria. So I have been successful using products like Fritz-Zyme 7, and also I've been very successful with instantly cycling a tank with media from an established tank. I keep filter media in the sump underneath this tank. I keep media that I can pull at any time, put into a filter, and I've got a tank ready for fish.
The next question is, how do you cycle your tank? And now I usually have a filter somewhere in the fish room that's not really doing anything but collecting bacteria for me. So when I do set up a new tank, I can just simply take that filter that's been seeding there for a while for me and just stick it in my new aquarium. But in the beginning, I would set up my tank and I would gradually every few days just put a little tiny bit of fish food in there, and then when I would start to see a little bit of algae on the glass, that's when I would put new fish in there. I would highly recommend you knowing the nitrogen cycle, but now personally, I always have a sponge filter or a hang on the back, but in the beginning I did use the fish food method.
Alright, so if you're looking to cycle a new tank, the best method is if you have another tank. So for example, if you've got one tank set up already and you think you want to set up a new one, trust me, if you've got one, you'll probably start getting more and more because it's kind of an addicting hobby. A really good way of doing this is even before you buy the tank and everything, buy your new filter. Set up your filter on your existing tank and then run that filter for, I like to try and do it for 3 or 4 weeks, because you're going to build up that beneficial bacteria in all the biological media in that new filter, and it's going to be easy to just then replicate that over to the new tank. When you get your new tank, I'd also like to do a big water change, like 50% on my existing tank, and put that straight into the new tank as well. That way you've got some of that older water there. The bacteria is going to be used to that water. All you need to do is add some more fresh water and then a heater, and you're pretty much cycled, ready to go very quickly.
The best way for me to cycle a tank may not be the same as you, because you may be a new fish keeper and you've never cycled a tank before. But the best way for me to cycle one would be getting a sponge filter that is already in an existing tank that already has that beneficial bacteria on it. Then I would take it and stick it in my new tank so that it will start establishing in the tank and all that beneficial bacteria will be there. And I would not add fish day one, but I would let things do what it's supposed to do, you know, for a little while, for a couple days before I added fish. Then the other tank that I took the sponge filter out of, I would put a new one in there, because it's sort of like cleaning your sponge filter, but you're just sticking a brand new one in there, and it's just gonna keep doing its job just like the other one did. So that's what I would do. But if you're new and you don't have any other tanks, then you may need to use like Fritzheim or Quick Start by API or Dr. Tim's. Something like that will help you get through that cycle and help you to get where you need to be to add fish.
Love this question. Best way to cycle a tank, because there's so many different ways to do it. My personal favorite way when it comes to cycling a new tank. Now, I'll give you one from scratch and one if you already have another tank. So if you're doing your first tank and you're cycling from scratch, I'm old school. I'm put the gravel in, put the water in, hook the filter up, sprinkle a little fish food in there, set it, forget it. Once a week, put another little bit of fish food in there. Take about 6 to 8 weeks, bam, your tank will be cycled. It's a slow process, but it's, to me, the most tried and true method if you're doing your first tank ever. If you want to do a fish in with that same method, get yourself something hardy like a beta. Cycle the tank with the one fish, because betas eat so little food. Just make sure if you do decide to do a fish in with this method and you're doing a beta, you're gonna have to do like water changes every other day, just to make sure your ammonia and your nitrite levels stay low enough that it doesn't harm the fish. It'll take a little longer to cycle, but it'll still get the same result for you. If you have another tank and you're setting up your second, third, your 24th, don't know who that could be, the best way for you to do then would be to use filter media from one of your tanks, take it out, put it in the new filter, run it, still add a little fish food so that the bacteria has something to feed on. You could also take some substrate out of an established tank and add that in as well. It'll cycle so much faster for you. It'll probably cut the time down in half, if not a third. I think the fastest I've cycled a tank is maybe 2 weeks using used filter medium. And that's also fish in, because I knew I had some of that beneficial bacteria.
Cycle a tank. I like doing the all natural way. I add beneficial bacteria into it and allow it to go 3 to 4 weeks to let it go through the nitrate cycle. And then I test for the nitrates and I test for ammonia. And as soon as it's all gone, I start adding my shrimp there. Everybody knows shrimp can't have no ammonia.
The best way to cycle a tank is to already have a cycled tank. I know, so helpful, so helpful. But really, if you do have an established tank, transferring media from that filter to your new filter is basically an instant cycle, or at least squeezing out the filter media into your new tank will introduce live bacteria more efficiently than adding bacteria in a bottle. But if you are starting from scratch and you don't have access to some cycled filter media, I had no issues following the classic method of using bacteria in a bottle, such as Tetra Safe Start, and just feeding the bacteria with an ammonia source, either pure ammonia such as the Dr. Tim's ammonia, or add fish food to the aquarium and let it break down. Over time, the bacteria will feed on the ammonia source and multiply, and another set of bacteria will develop to feed on the nitrites that result from the digestion of the ammonia. It is kind of a slow process when you don't have fish already in there, but it does take away the stress of trying to cycle a tank that already has fish in it. Another method that works with fish already in the tank is to load up the tank with a bunch of live plants, particularly the ones that are fast growing and crave fertilizer, such as hornwort, guppy grass, duckweed, some bacopa, rotala, ludwigia, water wisteria, water sprite. They'll pretty reliably absorb the ammonia created by fish waste, and you'll have a lush garden of live plants, and you'll keep a clean environment for your fish, and your filter media eventually will develop the nitrifying bacteria over time, and it'll work in tandem with the plants to keep everything clean long term. And while all this is going on, don't forget to test your water for ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. Once you don't see any ammonia or nitrite on the test, but you do see some nitrates, then you'll be pretty certain the tank is cycled.
'Tis the season to be jolly. Hey yo, is Bartholomew from Buffalo, Death Row Aquatics. Look, so you want to know how to cycle a tank there, huh? So look what you got to do over there. All right, you got your new tank with your new water over there, but then you go get an established tank filter, and you take that dirty, filthy filter out of the established tank, and you put it in the new tank water, and then you squeeze that filter till that water is milky, dirty, filthy, nasty, soupy brown, right? And if you got another filter, you go and squeeze that one into that new water too. Can't hurt, baby. It can't hurt. All it is gonna do is just make it more filthy, nasty, and dirty. I like that. Then when you turn your filter on for the new tank, it's going to be running all that bacteria riddled, dirty, soupy water on through. And as it's running on through, you might want to hit it with a little of that Fritz 7 bacteria infused liquid to add extra bacteria. And now you got a nice bacteria soup tank flowing. Toss your little water conditioner in there. You'll be ready for fish in no time. I'm talking about no time, like now. Take it from me, your friend Bartholomew from Buffalo, Death Row Aquatics. Fa la 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 la. Go do it. Go do it. We out. La la la. Happy holiday. Hey, chat, next time we are in chat, remind me to fire Larry and get rid of Bartholomew. Look, that guy's got to go. But listen, hopefully you've learned something here. Hopefully you know how to cycle your tank from this all-star panel. At least give you some good ideas. So definitely go ahead and do it. Get you a tank. Find your friend. Find an established tank. Get an old filter. And to go ahead and get that tank cycled and ready for fish in no time. You heard it here first. Fishy Biz Aquatics. Professional aquatics with the amateur touch on amateurs. Yep. Get that professional look. Be sure to check me out on Monday nights, 9 p.m. where I'm in the hot spot with a different guest. And also, don't forget to check out fishybizaquatics.com. 10% off all merch during this holiday season starting on Thursday. Nothing else left to say, but the best stuff is the wet stuff. And I'm out.